Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we're going to continue working with the commands that I showed you, the important commands to design thousands of airplanes in Fusion. So we're going to start using some of those and I will demonstrate them on this particular airplane. And well, this is not an airplane, it was a manned missile. The Japanese were designing this back in World War II. So I wanted to choose something that's relatively simple and not too difficult to do. The hardest thing on this to model, as I look at this, is probably the canopy. But if you want a scale looking canopy, it'll be harder to do. But if you just want a regular canopy, then that's not too hard to do either. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to do here is first you want to do. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for rapid prototyping, from 3D printing, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, injection molding, electronic PC board design and manufacturing. PCBWay has globally competitive prices, and to get an instant quote for your project, sign up for an account and drag and drop your file. You will get an instant quote, and 2 to 3 days you will get a firm quote. For your 3D printing needs or other rapid prototyping needs, check out PCBWay.com. You can look at the fuselage here. You can see that it's pretty much a cylinder, the roundness of it. So we can just go ahead and use a form here. And so knowing how to use forms is very important to model, all these airplanes. So you come up here and select Create Form. Now we want to use a cylinder for this because this is round here. So we use a cylinder, click cylinder, and then you'll click the plane that you want to put it on. Then we have a center point. Since this is not lined up in the center here, this particular plane, we just sort of put it here and stretch this out. Then left click, turn this to the right. And then you just drag this back to all the way here. And what we want to do is add a couple more height faces, but we'll do that later since it really doesn't need anymore at this point. So we'll just go ahead and click OK. And then we want to start modifying this. Now to do this, what you want to do is just left click and drag over this right here to light up that whole segment right there, as you can see, top and bottom. Then right click and then left click Edit Form. I'm going to move this down there. Same thing here. Left click and drag this down. Same thing here. And drag this down. I'm going to move this back even a little here. Now we can start closing this down and go to the top. Same thing. Move that in. And you can see this is pretty much lined up here already. And what we need to do here is add another section right here. And to do that, just drag this over this whole section here, and then come up here to modify and insert edge. And I put an edge there right where we need it, and then change this to exact. And click OK. Now we can take this, then right click, edit form, and move this up just a little bit. Then just pull that out a bit. And you can see now that's fine. Here, we want to widen this just a little. So we select that whole section. And that's just a little bit too much. Okay. Work on this front one here a little more. Well, it looks like we're going to need to put one here, another edge. So again, come up here and modify, insert edge. And now I need to move this forward just a little bit. So we just drag this up here. About right there. Exact. click OK. Then drag over that whole section, right click, edit. Move this in a little bit. Then look at this from the top. And that looks fine. Then here, move this down. Move this in. And we can see that looks good. And drag this out here too. And we might have to put another edge in here too, which is no problem. Modify, insert edge, and I want that to be about right there, and click OK. Right click, edit. Move this out. Look at this from the top, and drag this out. And back to the front here. Move that in, maybe down just a little bit. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is hold down the Alt key and drag this forward to about right there. And that gave me another segment. Then start scaling this down too. Okay, and that looks good from the front there. Let's move along the back here. Take this here, and then I'm just going to rotate this. Then move this back a little. Then I want this segment here. Move it down. This segment here as well, or not that. Okay, I'm going to have to double click this. And I want to put an edge right here. But before I do that, let's take a look at this. And I'm going to modify, insert edge. Move this to about right here. Then double click this, right click, edit form. Drag this out a little. Okay, this is not bad. I'll probably just go ahead and leave this as is. This is our fuselage so far. Go and click OK. Double click this. We're going to fill hole. And it shows you. Choose the best one for this. And that is it. And go ahead and click OK. Okay. Now we can go ahead and finish form. And that is our fuselage. Not too bad for just a few minutes worth of work. That's why learning how to model with forms is very important. Surface modeling is great when you have complex shapes and you need to have really nice curves and everything. But sometimes you want to just use a form for simplicity if the model lends itself towards that, and this model does, and I want to show you guys that particular thing. Turn the bodies off here. Now what we're going to do is sketching. Sketching is another very important tool here. So we're going to create a sketch on this plane here. And I'm going to do somewhat an outline of this airfoil here. If you have an airfoil shape that you want to use and you have a DAT file, DAT file, watch my earlier video where I show you guys how to insert DAT files, airfoils, if you want to. But now I'm just using a arbitrary airfoil here, and you can do the same thing too while learning how to do this. So I'm going to create a line. Then look at this from the top. Okay, this needs to come back just a little, it looks like. Now, it probably changed here and went straight up instead of staying down here, which is no problem. We'll just leave it as is. As you saw earlier, this was down here. So now I'm going to use a fit point spline and do somewhat of an airfoil here. And like I said, if you have one that you want to use, go ahead and use it. Okay, go ahead and finish sketch. And turn the sketches back on. Turn some of these other ones off here. I was working on this earlier on the canopy up here. And take a look at this here. Now, the next command we're going to use here is the plane at an angle. So we come up to construct and use plane at an angle here. Another important tool here. Then select this line here and then rotate this around to the front so we can see this. And we can see this plane comes straight across and it needs to go pretty much up along the lines of this wing here. So what we do is just rotate this, and that looks about right. And click OK. Then turn this back around this direction and look at this from the top. And then we're going to create a sketch on this plane here. So I'll click the plane and then create sketch. Now we want to use project letter P. Very important to do because if you try to, this line here, if I try to snap onto this line, it won't do it because this point is not on this plane that I'm sketching on. So you have to project this point onto the plane so now you'll be able to snap to it. So you will hit the letter P for project. And then I'm going to turn the canvases off for a second here so I can see what I really want to project. And I want to project these points here, the line itself, and this back one here. Then click OK. Then turn the canvases back on. And I'm going to use a line. And now you can see it snaps here. And then I'm just going to drag this out here. Now, what it could have done to make this, when you get these pictures off the internet, a lot of times they're not, really scale drawings and stuff like that. So always be cognitive of that, and that sometimes, well, most of the times they're not going to line up. So you just have to work around stuff like that. Then select fit point spline, snap that there. But I have found that the blueprints that I get from a site called The Blueprints, theirs seem to be a little more accurate. And if you want really accurate ones, your best bet is just go ahead and pay for them. Okay, let's see what this does. It may not let me sweep this, but we can always check it first. And then if it doesn't let me sweep it, then I'll just have to come back and do it another way. Now we come up here to create sketch, and we're going to use a sweep. And change this to path and guide rails. And we're going to select these two as a profile. And that as a path, and this as a guide rail. And now you can see it's not letting me do this. So let's, before trying another way, let's reverse these two. Select this as a path, and this as a guide rail. Okay, now let me do it that time. So if it doesn't let you do it, always reverse those two before, trying something else. Now we have this. Now you can see it did not go all the way around here. So what I'm going to do here is go back to this here, right click and edit. And then I'm going to change this to full extents. As you can see, that made it go all around. And just click OK. And this is it so far. Not too bad. We can mirror this, another command that you need to know. And so we come up to create and mirror. And this mirror command will save you so much work. So you don't have to, sketch things a couple of times or, build things a couple of times. You can just do it once and then use a mirror. And I always like to keep these as a new body because I may add things to this. Okay. Now we can see this wing needs to go up a little bit. So in order to do that, another important command here to know is the move command. So a couple of ways you can do that, but I find the best way of doing it is just find what you want to move, then right click on it and move copy. And normally it gives you the right sections or selection here of how to move it, the correct one. And that is a bit much, so I'll move it down. And that's about right. Now, as you can see, the way I did this It's just the wing is a little thicker here because of this. I made this all one piece, which did that. So, to make this thinner, and then you will have to make the cap over here. I'll show you guys how to do that too here. I'll turn off the canvas here. Turn off the bodies. Now, had I, let's see, go back here, edit sketch. Had I just drawn a line or a, another segment here. I'll do this way. Cancel this. Create a sketch on this plane here. And project this, and this onto it. Might as well project this too. Cancel that. And finish sketch. No, I'll do that another time, show you guys how to do that. If you guys want to do that, when you sketch this line here, just stop it here, around here somewhere. And this line will taper. I'll turn the canvases back on. Then this line, this wing will taper down like this if you do it that way. The way I did it, what I can do here is just delete a couple of these. And then turn the bodies back on. And then as you can see, the wing now tapers down like it should, if you want to do it that way. And then you have to do the this tip here. Move this down a little more. Then you have to come back and do this. And that's I showed you guys how to do that in another video that I had. But this is what we have so far here and the commands that we use. So far, the commands that I have used are the sketch tools, the create form, and the project. And those are very, very important. And believe it or not, that the tail back here, this horizontal stab, is done the exact same way as the wing here. Like I said earlier, that a lot of times the blueprints don't line up very well. As you can see, on the blueprint, this wing is longer than this wing over here. So just always be aware of that when you're looking at blueprints. Okay, let's go back to this. Again, we're going to create a sketch on this plane here. So you click that plane and click Create Sketch on the plane. Okay, then I'm going to sketch a line from here to here and look at this from the top. And that's about right. Then again, the arbitrary airfoil. Okay, then again, the mirror, very important command. Click that and you want to mirror this line here. And like that, and click OK. Finish sketch. Now turn the sketches back on. And again, very important command, construct here. And we're going to use plane at an angle. And we want to use this line here and leave it at 0 degrees and click OK. Next, we're going to rotate to the top. And now we want to create sketch on this plane. And we want to project the points again like we did. So the letter P. And if you notice, all the commands that I use so far, this is pretty much how I sketch, model all these airplanes that I do. Except if I'm surface modeling them, it's a little different, but these commands are important. Then use a line here, snap it here, pull this all the way out here, line here, and pull this all the way out to here. So you snap it there, and this gives you the line directly across. Okay, then go ahead and finish sketch. We can turn the canvases off, click that eye there, and we have that. Then again, we come over here and use, again, the sweep command. So sweep, change the path guide rails, and make sure this is full extents. And the two profiles that we're going to use are this one and this one. And the path, this one, and a guide rail, this one. And click OK. And the mirror command, again, very important. And the plane they're going to use to mirror that is that, and make this separate, new body, and click OK. Now this needs to be moved up just a little bit according to this. But like I said, these blueprints don't really line up that well, so I'm not going to move it. I'll just leave it as is. Okay, now, again, we're going to create a sketch on this plane here. And create a sketch. And use a line. Sketch the line from here to here. Click OK. And I want to mirror that line. And click OK. Go ahead and finish sketch. Then another command here is split body, very important. Click it. Now, what I'm doing here, I want to cut off this little piece right here. So the body to split is this. The splitting tool is going to be that line. Click OK. Now we have two pieces here. And this little piece here, we don't need it. So this here, what we can do is right-click on it and select Remove. Don't use Delete unless you really know you're not going to need that piece anymore. But normally I just use Remove because I can always go back and bring that piece back if I need to. I just don't need it over here in this tree. And that's how you do that. Okay, now we have that. Now, this next portion here, I'm going to create a sketch on this plane here. And somewhat just draw or sketch this. And another line. Then a fit point spline. And same thing for the bottom. And finish sketch. Now what I'm going to do here is use extrude, another very important command. And that is what I want to extrude that there. I'm going to pull this out. Click OK. Now this is square here. I haven't done this modeled this, but as you can see, it's a little too thick unless I move this in a little. Since these don't line up properly, so what I'm going to do is use the edit feature here. And I'm going to change this to 2 sides. I'm going to move this back a little. And this. And that still sticks out too much, so use the edit feature again. Okay. Can move this out a little bit. Then click OK. And we have that there. Turn off the canvases. Okay. Now another very, very, very important command here is the fillet. There's so many things you can do with fillets, and I did not realize you could. And until I saw others using them. Now, this is just one way of doing this also. And you have that. And that's just one way of doing this. And I'll show you another way of doing this here. What you can do is create a sketch on this plane here. And sketch your profile on top of here. Your profile of your airfoil here. Let's do this from the front. Then mirror. Okay, now this is down here. Finish sketch. I want this to be up here. Now what we can do is use an offset plane this time. Or we can sketch a line on this plane here. Just use the line tool. Doesn't really need to be long. It's just for reference. Then finish sketch. Then again, we're going to use plane at an angle, and we're going to use this. 0 degrees, click OK. Look at this from the top, and then we're going to create a sketch on this plane. So select this plane here, create sketch. And what I want to do is project this onto that plane. So I'll select project. Click OK. Finish sketch. Now we're going to use extrude. Select that and that. And we can pull this up. And make this a new body. And click OK. And that's another way of doing that. And then we still have to do the top. And to move this over slightly to the right, so select Move Copy. And then just move this over there and click OK. And down here, what I'll do is edit this, the edit tools, and then change this to 2 sides. And pull this down. I don't. Okay, and that's how you do that. Now those are so far the commands that I have used, and they are all very powerful. And pretty much these are the tools that I use to model thousands of airplanes. So next time I'm going to come back to this, will be later this week. I'll show you guys how to do the canopy. And this canopy, let me turn this canvas off. And what I've been working on the front. And I've been doing this by surface modeling these, as you can see up here. And the only thing I have to do is just move all of these down a little bit, but that's nothing. And then the back half of the canopy will be a form. So I'll show you some of the tools that I use with surface modeling as well in the next video, so we can do this canopy here, because this is going to take a little time here. To do this is probably going to take about 20 or 30 minutes to do that. So yeah, turn off these canvases. But yeah, so those are some of the tools that I use all the time for modeling airplanes and everything. And so yeah, and if you have any questions about this, what I'm doing here, or any of these tools that I'm showing you guys, and again, these are some of the most important tools that you need to know. And yeah, so also, again, if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section or send me an email or go to my Facebook group or my Patreon site. If you can become a paid member on my Patreon site, I can give you more help there and stuff like that. So yeah, but that's going to do it for this video, and I will catch you in the next one.
Subscribe for more.